What's going on, Archivists? You ever go 0-2 with then the buy at locals? So you go 1-2, but then you feel like you haven't accomplished anything because you got your win off of a buy and you didn't really learn anything because you didn't really get to play because you didn't finish your third round? That was me today with the CakeTCG Locals, which I participated in, and as you heard, I went 1-2 with my win coming from the buy, unfortunately. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my performance again, and I'm not going to do a deck profile like I did end up doing last time. This time, I'm just going to talk about some of the cards that I liked, that I didn't like, and talk about my matchups, the little bit of them that they were. So once again, I piloted Fire Crux Lorraine. I made some changes. I used some of the cards from Jimmy Lee's latest gauntlet list from Worlds this last weekend, and some were good, some were bad. I'm beginning to kind of see what I like and what I don't like, which is cool, which is great. I can definitely see where the deficiencies in the deck lie. I'm not able to establish an early enough presence at times. Sometimes cards are a brick in hand. And because sometimes I'm not able to just establish a presence, period, I can get run over easily. So definitely going to be making some changes to the deck. But what we're going to talk about today is some of the changes that I made to the deck for today's locals, and then what I think I might put back in for next week's locals. So let's hop into it. So I talked about last week how I didn't care much for Flame Sweep because it never really came up for me, and the same stays true today. It didn't really come up for me. So what I ended up doing prior to this tournament was I did drop Flame Sweep down to 2. I keep 2 in the side deck because I know it's good for cleave. It never comes up. And instead I went up to 4 on my Rending Flames, which would have been awesome had I been able to see this card. I didn't see it much, which was unfortunate, but I know it's really good and I like it a lot. My round 1 opponent was a Fractals deck and he dropped Nullifying Lantern on me, and unfortunately I couldn't see another card I put into my deck to be able to out the Nullifying Lantern, so this card ended up doing nothing for me. Like I said, I did put in the 2 reduced to ash. Don't ask me what I took out of my deck for this because I don't remember. I have 2 here in the main deck and then 1 in the side deck. Would have been great if I could have actually seen it when I needed it. I did take out 1 of an Incapacitate and 1 of a Refracting Missile. I didn't explicitly put these cards in this place, but I know I took those 2 cards out, just leaving 1 ofs in the main deck. Was trying the Cemetery Sentry from Jimmy Lee's list. He also was on the 1 Incapacitate main, 1 inside with 1 Refracting Missile. I presume that's because Genbu and other water decks are a big thing, so you can kind of just rely on your opponent having the water memory you need for Prismatic. Cemetery Sentry is all right. It's a 2/2, which is nice. On enter, I can discard a Fire Element card, so I can discard some of the cards that I ended up putting in. One of the big ones here was Tempered Steel, which I actually do like this card a lot. So Tempered Steel, really nice because it is floating memory, which is one of the biggest pluses, but also it puts a durability counter on a weapon you control, which is nice because it means that I can be a little bit more aggro with my weapons when I might be a little bit more reserved because I don't want them to break. Or in the case of like Prismatic Edge, I can kind of get an attack off without having to worry about it breaking and needing to do a Spirit Blade Ascension play. Honestly, I think what I want to try in this place, I want to make the list a little bit more mid-range than it currently is, because currently it feels like it's a really big like combo deck you're trying to set up for this one big sweeping kill. So I want to throw a little bit more allies in the deck. Specifically, I want to throw in the Arthur Young Heir, because I think he could be really nice with Hasties and with the Honorable Vanguards and stuff. So I might try that, see how it works. I did end up dropping Flame Rune Swordsman down to 3, and I did put up Honed by Fire to 3. I really like that it's fast activation because it means when I go into my level 1 Lorraine and I get the Sword of Seeking, I can do this fast activation on my Recollection step, and then I'll get the +2 on it, which is really nice, and a durability counter. Not that I necessarily want to buff up my Sword of Seeking with 3 durability counters, but it is nice to be able to swing into allies and actually be able to take them out. So it is a pretty decent replacement. Not decent, let me rephrase that. So it is a pretty good replacement for Savage Slash. If there's one thing I miss in this iteration of the deck compared to what I was playing previously, is I felt like I was able to get more damage in early on because of Savage Slash. And Deflecting Edge was really nice as well, because I think Deflecting Edge, if I'm remembering correctly, do I still have it in my sight here? Let me check. Deflecting Edge was really nice because it prevents the next 3 attack damage I would take. And I did end up taking like a lot of attack damage today, so it would have been nice to prevent some of that. But I know I'm meant to be a little bit more of a combo deck, so the Deflecting Edge doesn't necessarily fit, but I might try to find some space for it. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to take out for Deflecting Edge. Maybe if I play it and Savage Slash, but we're going to play around with some things. For my sideboard, like I said, I have the one Reduced to Ash in here. This card, I wish I sided this in for Slimes, and I wish I could have seen it because it would have just been able to destroy them without me having to actually do all this sort of damage. So I'll be honest, this might be a card I bump up to maybe 2 in the main with an additional 1 inside, but I know at that point I'm kind of pivoting into playing a little bit more fire aggro. Still got the 2 flame sweeps in here. We have the Incap inside. Some new cards that I got for my side deck. Crystallized Destiny, which was great when it came up. Unfortunately, it didn't come up that much. It came up in one instance where I would have been able to negate 7 damage off of a refracting missile, but then my opponent played a card against me, I don't know what it's called, that basically said, yeah, negate the activation of your Crystallized Destiny unless you pay this cost, which was like 7. So that was nice, I guess. We also put in a Nullifying Mirror. And then the last 3 cards we have was Morgan's Soul Guide. I'll be honest, you guys got to tell me. I'm not exactly sure why you play this card outside of your opponents not being able to recover, which would have been big against Silvie for sure, because my Silvie opponent did end up recovering. But if like that's the only thing you play for, all right. I misread this card completely. I mean, I guess it would have been busted if it said otherwise, but I thought this card said prevent all non-attack damage. Like that would be dealt to your champion. I didn't realize it was only to Morgan. So I was like, it's not as good as I originally thought it was, but I know the card is still played. Obviously, it's still a pretty decently priced card. So I'm curious to see like what the play lines for this are. If you guys have any tips, do drop them for me in the comments down below. Trying to get better. Would love to learn. So in talking about matchups, round 1, we played against Fractals. Game 1, I definitely could have won. I wasn't aware of all the interactions that were available to me. I had a Clarent Reimagined with 3 durability counters on it. And what I should have done, I didn't know if I could do it, and I was afraid to ask, so I didn't. But what I should have done was when he activated his Refracting Missile, or whatever, I think it was a Refracting Missile, should have burned 1, and then in response, burn 1, and then in response, burn 1. So I would have been able to prevent 6. I thought you could only do 1 instance per like damage, so I didn't. We learned that that was not the case. A little bit of searching in the Grand Archive Discord goes a long way. So we did learn about that. I was very heavily pressuring him game 1. If I had done that, I would have been in a much better spot. So you live and you learn. Game 2, I just wasn't able to generate much of anything. I just couldn't generate anything. And then my round 2, I played against Silvie. Game 1 was really long. It went back and forth. He basically ended up dropping a bunch of slimes that I just wasn't able to deal with because they all had like taunt. And so the one taunt had maybe like 6 or 7 attacks. I had to take it out, but without the Immolation Trap, I have to like swing into them. And because they have Pride, he can't attack with them, but he can do the retaliation damage to me. So that was pretty big. That's why I would like to put more Immolation Traps in here. So I'm definitely going to put at least 1 more. I'm going to try to find space how I can fit this in the main deck. I'm not exactly sure just yet. I really don't want to end up playing Fire Aggro, but I feel like I might end up playing Fire Aggro. I don't want to though. I want to play level 3 Lorraine Crux Knight. So we'll see if we can keep the dream alive. And then round 3, we ended up with the bye. If you guys liked the video, please do drop a like, comment, letting me know what you thought, any tips for me, anything that I can consider, etc., etc. And also subscribe, sharing the video with your friends. We're trying to grow the channel, trying to do more GA content. Hit the notification bell so that you know when future videos come out. Thank you guys for watching this video. And until I talk to you guys the next time, peace out.